Most normal people track their reading on Goodreads, and some people are really fancy and use a bullet journal instead. And then there's me. I have been tracking my reading for almost 2 decades. Yikes! Yes, I was born in the 1900s. Let's move past it. And granted, after almost 20 years, I have apparently decided that one system is not enough for me, but 2026 is wild because I am doing 8. Yes, you heard that right. 8 different ways to track the same exact books. Am I okay? Probably not. But am I going to have the most beautiful data at the end of the year? Absolutely. Hi, I'm Francesca. Welcome to Under the Covers. And today I'm going to be walking you through my completely excessive and slightly unhinged reading tracking system for 2026. So welcome to the chaos. I've broken these down in terms of what part of my personality each one of them is serving. But before we get into those specifics, let me start with my newest addition to the family. This is the new toy here, and it's the app Margins. Now, I didn't plan on using this, but then December rolled around and I saw a lot of people posting about Margins, and a friend of mine actually sent me her Margins wrapped, or like the wrap up of 2025. And I got the worst case of FOMO in my life because it is shiny, it's aesthetic, and I realized that I needed that specific dopamine hit. So Margins is now added strictly for the vibes. Now, I will say that the Goodreads import worked perfectly, but I am still struggling on importing my Storygraph data, and that is actually where I have my 2025 data. So I am a little disappointed that I still didn't get the beautiful 2025 wrapped data, but I'm still working on it. Now, Margins is the new kid, but I am still loyal to my main trio that I was planning on using. I actually did a whole video recently about quitting Goodreads where I deep dived into Pagebound, Storygraph, and Fable. So I'm going to leave that video here. So if you want to check it out, you can get in more detail what those apps are like. But here's why I am keeping all 3 of them for 2026, because I realized that they feed different parts of my personality. First is the data nerd. And for that, 100% Storygraph. That is non-negotiable. I need my pie charts. I need my data. So if I don't log a book into Storygraph, did I even read it? Probably not. And in fact, yes, that happens sometimes because as much as I have 8 ways to track my reading, sometimes I forget to track it at all. And once in a while, I'll look for a book on Storygraph or wherever I'm tracking and realize that I didn't log it at all, but I did read it. And so I correct that. Look, mistakes happen. Second, though, is the gamer in me, and that is Pagebound. Sometimes my logging of my reading is not about the plot. It's because of the badges and the competitiveness and the points. And Pagebound turns my reading into a fun quest. Plus, it really sparks that competitive side with trying to get more and more points. Like you want to add recommendations and books like and interact in the forums and anything that will get you an extra set of points. I am there. The third is the social butterfly aspect, and for that is Fable. This is where I'm going to go on to talk about books with other people. Fun fact, obviously, for the Romance Happily Reading Challenge, we do have a Fable book club. So I definitely want to make sure that all of my reading for the year is also updated on Fable, since I am running a book club and a reading challenge on the platform. Now, we have the main trio of apps and the new toy, but we need to talk about Bookly. Bookly is to satisfy my Timekeeper personality, and this app is strictly for the act of reading. So when I sit down to read a book, I open Bookly, I go on to that book and I hit start. And then when I finish for that session, I hit stop and I log where I'm at in the book, whether that is tracking the pages or tracking the percentage. So it tracks my reading speed. It tracks the number of sessions that it takes me to finish a book. And it gives me this great report of my time spent with that book. And I'm going to be honest, I don't remember to do this, or I don't want to do this necessarily for every single book that I read, but I do use it most of the time. Fun fact also is this is actually the only subscription that I pay for when it comes to book apps. Everything else here, I use the free version, but Bookly does get my money. Why, you may ask? That is because you can only have a certain number of books that you keep in their system for free, and after that you have to pay. So it does have the same functionality. I actually do like to export that data of the reading sessions into one of the things that I'm going to talk about next, but I sometimes don't do it fast enough, so 10 books can get limiting for me, and that's the only reason that I actually upgraded. So where am I logging that data, you may ask? This is where we're going to get into my number 6 system, which is Notion. And this is something that I basically see as my legacy archive. Now, I personally use a template that I designed myself. I do have it up for sale. If you're interested, I have a full walkthrough on the channel of the whole template, but all of my reading data lives here. Now, you may be asking, if you have all these other apps, why do you also need Notion? And that is because, well, one, apps come and go, and Notion has been there forever for me. Obviously not forever, there were other things before, but I want to have one place where all of my data can live in one place. I'm also obsessed with having multi-year data, with actually looking at trends in my reading and maybe changing some of the things that I read, or in which direction the books that I'm picking up should go in base of data, or even importing data like my reading sessions and all of that, the speed that I read a book in, all of that data gets also added into Notion. And that, again, gives you practical information that you can use to determine what books you're going to read. I know that that is a little bit extra, but I do look at that. And also there's fun things you can look at, like who are your most read authors of all time, or what genres have you read the most, or tropes, or any of those things. I know that there are now some apps like Fable, for example, that easily show you what are your most read authors every year and across all of the years that you have logged in there. But I definitely love to see all of that data in Notion. So Notion is basically the forever home for my library because, yes, it also actually has all of my book inventory in there as well. Now, all of those are the fun things, okay? But now we're going to talk about the business of reading, because I do have a book blog. So I get advanced reader copies from publishers, from authors, from PR companies, and I have some loose deadlines at least for when I should be reading these books. But I have a toxic trait, and that is that I am always late reading arcs. In fact, I probably have all of my most anticipated reads of 2026 sitting in my Kindle, and I have not read them. I know. I have a problem. And I do log all of that stuff in different places, but I have started using a new app to take care of this and remind me of things, and it's been working out great. So the app that I am using is Shelf Control, and this is basically acting like my manager, right? I go on as soon as I get a book for review, and I simply add it on there, and then I can open the app and see in just chronological order what are the books that I should be reading first in order of my due dates. I used to manage all of this by just creating Kindle collections for every month, but right now I need an app that can just remind me, and it keeps me on track and not getting blacklisted. And then finally, number 8 is a physical reading journal. Now, I have been using reading journals off and on for many years, but for the past 2 years, I haven't used a reading journal. So in 2026, I am going back to a physical reading journal, which I am super excited about. I haven't set this one up yet, but we'll be getting to that, and you guys will see a video of that soon. But I think that sometimes just tapping on a screen is not enough, and a physical reading journal is great for the artist in me. I need to use stickers, I need to use color, I need to print out covers, I need to make things pretty. I tried doing that on a digital reading journal last year, and I didn't really stick with it. So I think I'm going to go back to paper because I have such a strong desire this year of doing a lot of things more analog. I don't know if that is just me or if that is something that we're all collectively feeling. But I did get this beautiful new journal. Fun fact, I actually started setting up a whole different notebook, and I was quite far along in all my setup in that one. And then I decided that I wanted to buy one of these beautiful Typhosi notebooks. So I am going to be resetting everything, and I will be recording it and sharing that with you guys. But if that's any indication of what 2026 is going to be like, it's already on a rough start, because I basically had everything mostly done in December, and now I bought a new notebook, and here we are already halfway into January, and I have nothing done. So off to a great start. But there you have it. Those are the 8 ways that I'm going to be tracking my reading in 2026. 1 reader, 8 systems, absolutely no chill. It's okay. Let me know in the comments if you're a Goodreads only normal person, or if you're a chaos goblin like me. What are you going to be using to track your reading in 2026? And now I think I need to go update my 8 different percentages in different places. So pray for me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.